Hey howdy, hey guys. Welcome back to a new Star Wars Saturday. I apologize for my voice being messed up. If you check my Instagram out, link will be in the description. I kind of blew out my voice last night at prom. You'll figure out why. Anyway, let's get into some Star Wars Saturday. This one is going to be the lightsaber colors and meanings, such as this color right here. Anyway, let's get
Today we're going to talk about how the lightsaber crystals. Now, here's the thing. They're not as the lightsaber colors, because the lightsaber crystal determines the lightsaber color. And there's two different explanations. It's canon, the Disney canon, and then Legends, which was the original comics or original Star Wars timeline before Disney bought Lucasfilm and took over Star Wars. Anyway, it's not as known as people think it is. I got a question before we start. Do you remember playing around with a lightsaber like this whenever you were a little kid? And what was your favorite color? And what color would you want to have as your lightsaber? Mine was blue, but green works too. In canon, the Disney canon, lightsaber crystals are originally colorless until the user or a Jedi selects the crystal. Like the crystal will call to them through the Force. And once they get that crystal, the crystal that suits them, they use the Force and pour their essence, they pour their personality into the crystal, and that's what color it becomes. While in Legends, the Jedi take whatever crystal is best suited for them, and that's the color that they have. It mostly depends on your Force powers, like what are you best at, and just like your personality that the crystal turns into, regardless of whether it's canon or Legends. Anyway, let's get started with the first color. The first color is going to be my favorite color, blue, right there. It's literally for the warriors of the Jedi Order, the ones who rely on more combative skills with the Force and the lightsaber rather than negotiations and stuff. But they will. I'm not saying they don't ever use negotiations, but they resort more to aggressive negotiations, which is basically fighting, killing with a lightsaber. A good example of this would be someone that's good at everything, but master of nothing. That's pretty simple. A good example of this would be Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and there's Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels. There's so many blue lightsabers. It's always either blue or green. That's literally the most colors of the Jedi. The next one, you're going to be pretty surprised about this, is purple. Now, purple is actually a pretty rare crystal. It's the most rare crystal and rare personality in the entire Star Wars galaxy, and we don't really have that big of a detailed explanation of it, but due to Mace Windu, if you've seen Star Wars and you know Mace Windu and how he acts, how he fights, you'd kind of understand how it works. Purple is a light side user that uses some dark aspect without letting it consume. Well, I'm just going to pull up a video from how the dark side works, because I explained Vapad in that, and that's a good example of it. Give in to the dark side. They be like the Jedi and let the Force flow through them, the dark side flow through them without letting it touch them, let them scar them. And they can use it against their opponent. They can use the dark side against their opponent. And that is something that most Jedi, not all Jedi, most Jedi can't do. In fact, there's only a specific Jedi, such as Mace Windu, that can do that without letting it corrupt them. And another reason that it's purple is because when Samuel L. Jackson got the role of Mace Windu, he wanted to stand out. He didn't want to blend in with the rest of the crowd. Besides, being a famous actor. So he wanted George Lucas to give Mace Windu, his character, a purple lightsaber. And you probably know what George Lucas said. Blue and red makes purple. That's the perfect combination. Honestly, I personally think that's how the Jedi should have taught. It's better to study all the aspects of the Force, not just the dogmatic narrow view of the Jedi. I'm not saying the Jedi way is bad, just it could be changed. There could be slight stuff here and there that needs to be changed. The next one is going to be a lot of people's favorites. It's green. It's for people, or Jedi I should say, that are extremely powerful in the Force. A counselor, basically. They spend most of their time studying the ways of the Force rather than using it for combative skills or whatnot. And they're usually set on negotiation missions to solve problems without fighting, without using their weapon. And they'd rather not fight with a lightsaber. But when they do, oh, they have no problem using it, and they are one heck of a force to be reckoned with. Basically, they're the most knowledge-worthy of the bunch. They're the most powerful Jedi because they study. It's better to study, and that's how you become more powerful. You don't just go out there and fight and be combative. That's going to give you powerful as a Jedi, but not to the degree of a green lightsaber. It's more than just lightsabers and blasters and fighting. It's more of a tactical. You gotta use your brain, and that is why the Jedi are so powerful. Like Master Yoda, he's Master Yoda, Luke Skywalker, Luminar Unduli, Kit Fisto, and Eth Koth. Right here, I'll show you these pictures right here. Anyway, the reason Yoda has learned to survive while he's like 900 years old, and it's not because of his species. You know how I said the light side, I said this in my other video, the light side rejuvenates the body, which is why Yoda survives so long, because he studied so much, which is why he's basically been so consumed by the light side. He's so into it. That's one of the reasons why his lightsaber is green. They are the deadliest versions of the Jedi, both with the Force and with the lightsaber. Now, for all you bad people and Darksiders and haters and whatnot that are watching this video, this one's for you. Next one is red. No crystal in canon or Legends is originally red. This is why Jedi don't ever use red lightsabers, even if they, the only time they probably would is if they borrowed a Darksider's lightsaber. Like, for example, Obi-Wan and Ventress fought Darth Maul and Savage Opress in the Clone Wars. I'm sure you Clone Wars fans know what I'm talking about. Ventress gave Obi-Wan one of her lightsabers until he got his blue one back. Obi-Wan didn't really have a choice, but that's the only way a Jedi would ever use a red lightsaber. If they were using someone else's. Do they have an original lightsaber that is red? No, because Jedi actually can't use red lightsabers that are their own. In canon, actually in Legends, I'll go to Legends first. The crystals that the Sith use are not original lightsaber crystals. They're synthetic. They're not legit living crystals. They make those crystals, and then they pour their dark side energies into it, which turns it red. They can make their own lightsaber crystals synthetically. That's why it's called synthetic. Like a synthetic arm. That's a prosthetic arm. Anyway, in canon, the Sith are known to take a Jedi's lightsaber, take the crystal, and you know how they bend the Force to their will? They pour their anger, dark side, hatred, everything, all their darkness into a lightsaber crystal that they stole from a Jedi they killed. And the crystal bleeds red. Palpatine explained this. He explained this. The lightsaber crystals are a living thing. And like a living thing, it can bleed, it can feel pain. Take the Jedi weapon. Take the crystal, pour your darkness, make it sing the hymn of darkness. Only then will the crystal bleed red. That's how a Sith uses. They take a crystal, they pour their dark side into it, and it's very violent. I've seen it. I mean, look at this picture right here of Darth Vader bleeding the lightsaber red. It's pretty violent, and Star Wars Theory, linked down in the description, he does some pretty good videos. Shout out to you. He does some pretty good videos, and he brings this stuff to life. And I've learned a lot from him. So anyway, I mean that's basically red. I mean it's like blood, basically. You don't ever want to be near a Sith or a red lightsaber. Anyway, on to the next one. Now, this one's yellow. This one is extremely rare as well. Not as rare as purple, but it's not favored by any Jedi, and it's not a Jedi's permanent color that represents their personality. Like, for example, Anakin's is blue because he's so combative, and so is Obi-Wan. Yoda's green because he's so negotiable. But yellow, it doesn't belong to a Jedi in general. It doesn't personally belong to them. It's usually for like a Jedi Sentinel or a Jedi Temple Guard. I'm not going to get into detail of those because it'd be too long of a video. But yellow is like, it's kind of like a rotate. Some Jedi who choose to be Sentinels and they're Jedi Temple Guards, they wear masks, face concealing masks, and they take a yellow lightsaber. Kind of like a shift. You rotate with people. Like the next Jedi takes your outfit and your yellow lightsaber, and that's theirs for a time. It's not permanent, and I don't even know where it belongs to because, again, there's no explanation to that either. I mean, at least we have an explanation somewhat for purple. Now this one is extremely interesting. It's white or silver, whatever you want to call it. It mostly represents someone that is pure of heart. When I say pure of heart, I'm not saying be like Master Yoda or Obi-Wan. Yes, they're pure of heart, but this is more than that. A crystal that is white would be a Jedi that reverses the bleeding process on a crystal. So let's say they fight a Sith, they kill them, and they destroy their lightsaber, and they use the Force, and they release the bleeding process on a crystal. That it turns it white. It doesn't change it back to whatever color it previously was before it was red. It's white. Ahsoka from Star Wars Rebels in the Ahsoka novel would explain that. Now, I haven't read the full book, but it is pretty good, and it explains a lot of how Ahsoka got her white lightsabers in Star Wars Rebels, which we are still yet to find out. How is it possible? Like, why does it not turn back into its original color like blue or green? That is yet to be seen. And speaking of Ahsoka, she fought an Inquisitor from the Empire in the book, and she used the Force and reached out towards the crystals into his lightsaber, and they were not, since they weren't loyal to him, they were serving him, the crystals were, and it made his lightsaber crack, explode, killing him. So Ahsoka took the crystals, which are double-bladed, the two crystals, and she basically did what the Sith did, but in reverse, and turned them white. Now the next one is going to be pretty rare, and this is going to be like the closest thing you can get to a real sword. Perfect combination between a lightsaber and a real-life sword from back in like the medieval days. It's black. The black, when I mean black, I mean like the dark saber. Comment down below if you know what the dark saber is from the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. We finally got a history lesson in Star Wars Rebels that finally explains how the dark saber came to be. It was an ancient lightsaber, one of a kind, used by the first Mandalorian Jedi named Tar Vizsla, which if you watch the Clone Wars, it explains why Pre-Vizsla has the darksaber, because that's his descendant. After Tar Vizsla's passing, after he died, Mandalorians of House Vizsla, his family basically, sneak into the Jedi Temple and took the darksaber. And that is a symbol of leading Mandalore. You could lead the planet of Mandalore. You could lead all the Mandalorian clans, which you get to see in Star Wars Rebels, using that very blade. It looks like a real sword. It's sort of like a real sword, but it's got that good combination of a lightsaber type of power. But other than that, it looks like a real sword. It's a big symbol of Mandalore entirely. You get that. It's like, I don't even know what to say. It makes me speechless to this very day. Anyway, that's all the lightsaber crystal colors and meanings for today's video. I could go into legends, but there's hundreds of different colors, and I do not want to make a video on that. It's too long. Anyway, the question for today is, what lightsaber would you have? What kind of lightsaber, and what color would your crystal turn? And please tell me that it's a Jedi color. I do not like the Sith. So anyway, leave a thumbs up down below to help the channel grow. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for Sunday Top 5, and tomorrow is prom. I went to prom last night, but I haven't finished editing all those videos, so stay tuned for the prom video. You're going to enjoy it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you.